Fleischman. I'm a ASECT certified sexuality educator. ASECT is the American Association of Sex Educators, Counselors, and Therapists. And a little bit about my background. I came to this work as a sexuality educator after a really successful 30-year career in the public sector in Connecticut. And after I retired in 2010, I decided to go back to school to start my next career. You notice I didn't say my last career. And I got my PhD in human sexuality at the age of 62. Now, I mostly talk to older adults about sexuality issues, but because of my long-standing connection to MESOC and to ATSA, I've developed this particular module for those of you in the field that you're working in, both in forensics and in other parts of sexual violence prevention. I have presented this in the past at MNATSA. So anyone from Minnesota, I hope that you get something more out of this. I've made some changes since then. I've done this in Iowa for the ITSA, and I'll be working with folks in New York State, Indiana, and at Stop It Now. But today, this talk that I've entitled here, Sexual Wellness, Why It Matters for Individuals with Problem Sexual Behaviors, is really about this idea that there's been a shift in the field that you all are working in, that I am really adjunct a part of. And that is a shift from recidivism to prevention, to protective factors, to motivational interviewing, to the Good Lives model, to some truly outstanding and positive changes. And that shift tells me that there's more openness to talking about not just the quote unquote don'ts of sex, but the pleasure parts of sex and the larger sphere of sexuality. Because there's more understanding these days about the need to teach clients about issues of consensual, mutually satisfying relationship and authentic versions of their own sexuality. And I hope to hear more about this from you as well when we can have some time for a conversation. I truly believe that this kind of focus with your clients can help them be more motivated and inspired and excited to be learning. It can allow them to have approach goals rather than just avoidance goals. And I hope that you can offer them a better life rather than just staying out of prison. And lastly, what's most important to me is I worked in DCF and in juvenile justice. I'm not a clinician, I'm an educator. And beyond all that I can convey to you today, I want to give you some hope that what you are doing with your clients can help them create healthy and consent-based sexual relationships for the rest of their lives. So think about what gives you hope. And perhaps if you'd like to put that in the chat, that'd be wonderful too. So here's the plan for today. I've developed this presentation for you, and it's chock full of ideas and activities and a few models for you to use, and some strategies for success with your coworkers, with your administration, and with your clients. But most importantly, it's about hope. Hope for your clients and hope for you to be able to make a real difference in some very fundamental ways. I dedicate today's presentation to the practice of love, the most powerful antidote to the politics of domination. That quote is by none other than Bell Hooks. And if you aren't familiar with her, she was a trailblazing Black woman who died in December of 2021 at her home in Berea, Kentucky, at the age of 69. She was the voice of a generation as she wrote in depth on a whole range of topics, from race and gender to feminism, always speaking up for the working class and the Black community. Her writing was powerful for me, and I want to dedicate this session to Bell Hooks for being willing to take on the greatest challenges, not that different from the work many of you are doing. In the absence of comprehensive materials on sexual well-being for individuals in your care, clinicians often focus solely on the prevention of future harm. Many clinicians experience some discomfort trying to talk about sexual health from a healthy, consensual, and pleasure-focused perspective. Previous models have offered some very useful approaches, and current research on sexual wellness has provided some new approaches regarding sexual well-being, including sexual health, sexual pleasure, and a new term, sexual justice. I've been teaching some of the older models for years. Today, I want you to be able to walk away with a new model to add to your tools for enhancing your clinical practice.